podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.
PNR.
Now entering the PNRNetworks arena, coming down the aisle from Revere, Massachusetts, weighing in at absolutely none of your business. It's the mistress of mayhem, the queen of quips. It's time for Ring Around the Rosie with your hostess, Kim Brown.
Hey everybody, welcome to another week here on Ring Around the Rosie. I'm your host, Kim Brown, aka Platinum Rose Lady, coming to you on January 30th, 2019. Well, we here in New England are looking down the barrel of what unfortunately the rest of the country has been dealing with, and that's this really freaking cold weather. I hope everybody's keeping warm and safe. If you have to go out and it's really cold out, make sure you bundle up and, keep warm and stuff like that. We don't want anything falling off, so definitely be careful about that. And, if you're out, make sure, if you're out driving and you're going to be out driving for a while, make sure you have your cell phone charged up and make sure you have blankets and stuff like that in your car, because God forbid something should happen. So, the 2019 Royal Rumble is in the rearview mirror, and we are now officially on the road to WrestleMania. Yeehaw. Also, by the way, in case this might have slipped under the radar of anybody out there, there's this little thing that's supposed to be happening this weekend, non-wrestling event, little thing, it's this little football thing that's supposed to be happening. You might not have heard about it. It's kind of a local thing. It's a little on the QT and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm kidding. The New England Patriots will be taking on the LA Rams in Atlanta, Georgia this weekend at the Super Bowl. So obviously, much love and good luck to the Patriots. Definitely want them to win. If nothing else, it will shut people up and piss people off. And that works for me. Because I, honest to God, people, I am so sick and tired of all of the bitching and moaning and whining and kvetching and carrying on from other people, other teams and stuff like that, fans of other teams and such like that. The thing that really makes me sad is that people say, like, oh, Patriots fans are obnoxious, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm going to be really honest and straight up. I am not a football fan because it's got too many rules and I can't follow it. And I can't tell which players are who. But I gotta be honest, every Patriots fan I've ever met's been a really nice person. I know a lot of Patriots fans do a lot of good things for charities and stuff like that, and the Patriots themselves do a lot of really cool things for fans and for, people that are less disadvantaged and stuff like that. So to all the people spewing hate on the Patriots, simply put, you hate us 'cause you ain't us. So, there's that. And to put it in wrestling parlance, I have two words for you. But we'll continue. Moving forward. So much love to the Patriots. So, the Royal Rumble this past week, which was coming to us from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, one place that I'm assuming is not dealing with the freezing cold, but it's a dry heat. So, I always hear that about that part of the country. Everybody's like, oh, it's hot, but it's a dry heat. It's still heat, so that sucks. I'm not a hot weather person. At all. At all. Not even a little. Although I have been to Florida, so I do know what humid heat is like, and I don't really particularly enjoy that either. But anyway. I have to say, Chase Field, my gosh, that is a big ass building. And it looked like every single seat in that place was full. Good on ya, WWE. Seriously. So, as we mentioned, this is the 2019 Royal Rumble, and that's a big deal. I have to be honest, the Royal Rumble is, I know a lot of people, it's one of their favorite pay-per-views of the year because, you know, everybody's always like, ooh, who's going to show up and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And I get that. That part I like, you know, that kind of, we don't know everybody who's going to be in the Rumble, and it's, you know, you usually have one or two people that you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's so-and-so showed up, or, oh my gosh, I thought so-and-so was dead, or whatever, or that was not bad, Kim, no cookie. But seriously, I like the Rumble concept. My problem is half the time I'm like, I try to follow one person and then I lose them until they get thrown out. And I'm like, well, shit, now I got to start all over again and pick somebody else to follow. Damn it. I never try and figure out who's going to win simply because I mean, sometimes you obviously can tell by the way the storylines are written who's going to win. But every once in a while something happens that does surprise you. Not terribly often, but, you know, I mean, I have been watching this for 30 plus years, so, but I still go into it every year with like, oh, let's see what's going to happen and, you know, be excited and stuff like that. So, this is the second year running where they have a women's, Royal Rumble match along with the men's for all the good the gender line did. You'll know what I mean with that later on. The opening of the show, the pre-show, was a match between Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, the Raw Tag Team Champions, going against Scott Dawson from the Revival and Razor from the AOP. The stipulation being that if Scott Dawson and Razor won, then both of their respective teams, the Revival and the Authors of Pain, would get a shot at the Raw belts. Okay, little confusing, but we'll go with it. The match turned out to be won by Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. I don't know what to call this team. I mean, you know, you always have these these nicknames or portmanteaus of people's names and stuff like that, and I can't really come up with anything. Some people have said Grable, that, you know, and I'm like, I'm like, Groot sounds too close to Groot, so that doesn't work. I don't know what to call them. I don't, but just, you know, those two guys. that really sucks. Following that was a match for the United States the United States Championship. Blah, sorry, belt being on the line between champions Shinsuke Nakamura, who was the challenger to the champion, who was Rusev. So you've got the United States belt held by somebody from Bulgaria, whose challenger is someone from Japan. How long were the USA chance going to be before they were? And sadly, they weren't long in coming. I was like, no. I'm sorry. I was just like, no, come on. Really? You're better than this. Come on, crowd. Rusev was accompanied by his wife, Lana, which was a problem because, Nakamura tried to take one of the turnbuckles off, and Lana jumped up on the ring apron and started screaming that Nakamura was cheating, including screaming in his face, "You're a cheater." Wow, that's devastating. Woo! Language, people. Anyway, so Rusev charged at Nakamura. Nakamura got out of the way. Hit Lana. Lana fell to the ground. Rusev was obviously upset because he just plowed into his wife, and not in a good way. And Nakamura winds up, you know, taking advantage of this situation, and Nakamura is once again the United States champion, and Corey Graves is spouting off a bunch of bullshit about now how we're in the United States of Knock America, and already I'm like, oh man, we're on the pre-show, we've already got one shut the fuck up, Corey. That would be a really good M&M's game, because I don't drink. Take an M&M every time you have to say shut the fuck up, Corey. Or, you know, donate $1 to charity every time you have to say, shut the fuck up, Corey. Some charity would make a shit ton of money. The last match on the pre-show was a fatal four-way for the cruiserweight belt, which was a match between the champion, Buddy Murphy, Hideo Itami, Akira Tozawa, and Kalisto. awesome match. These are all amazing athletes, and I could watch them all day long. And I'm like, why the fuck are they on the pre-show? Besides the fact that the universe is monstrously unfair sometimes. Buddy Murphy performed his signature move, Murphy's Law, on Hideo Itami and kept the cruiserweight belt. So, the first match that actually kicked off the show, and I was definitely like, what the what? Was the match between WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Asuka, we're not worthy, going against Becky Lynch. And I was like, this is opening the, oh, all right. You know, I was like, okay. I gotta be honest. The whole Becky Lynch calling herself the man stuff. Okay. Now, I've been quiet about this because I figured it would go away. It has not gone away. Not even a little. I get it. I do get it. The whole, you know, to be the man, you gotta beat the man thing, which was made famous by Nature Boy Ric Flair, the father of the person that Becky has been feuding with Charlotte. But I have to be honest, speaking as a woman, listening to another woman refer to herself as the man, isn't that kind of taking a step down? I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong. I mean, I've always had people tell me that they think I was a cat in a former life. And I've always been like, well, if I was a cat in a former life and I'm a human in this one, is that a step up or a step down? I still haven't been able to figure it out yet. Anyone who has any ideas, platinumroselle@yahoo.com. I also have to say, and I'm not saying this in a negative way by any stretch of the imagination, because she pulls it off and she's incredible. I am pretty sure Asuka's robe could be seen from space. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of color. Holy cow, that is a lot of color on that robe, and it's not all exactly matching, but whatever, because it's Asuka and I respect her, and I madly respect Asuka, and I will freely admit that is respect tinged with more than a little bit of terror. But it's an amazing match. You know, these two women I was like, okay, fine, we're having this first, fine, fuck you, show. But at the same time, I was like, this is going to be incredible. And it was an incredible match. I just don't get the whole Becky Lynch thing. I don't get it. I understand cheering Becky because she's an amazing worker. I understand that. She's an incredible athlete, and I will never take that away from her. But she is the heel in this match. Now, I would never tell other people how to cheer or boo or whatever. I mean, unless you're just doing it to be a dick, which I am convinced certain places occasionally boo the faces and cheer the heels just to be a dick. Looking at you, Canada. But, and I can say that, never mind. Anyway, but I'm like, okay, Becky Lynch is the heel in this match, and the pop that she got was almost as loud or possibly even louder than the one Asuka got. But let's not forget, she's the heel. Okay. And Asuka winds up winning the match when she slaps on the Asuka lock, and Becky winds up tapping out. Where there should be no shame in that, because there never should be any shame in tapping out, because if someone hits you with a move like that, you're going to tap out or you're going to get something broken. You know, that's just all there is to it. It was a really, really incredible match. Just fantastic. The next match, I have to be honest, I had a very bad feeling going into it. I was like, I just had a feeling this was going to end poorly. The next match was The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, going against the team of The Miz and Shane McMahon, with The Bar being the tag team champions from SmackDown. And Shane and The Miz, who have become this team that I was kind of like, okay, should we just all set our clocks by who's going to betray who first? Hasn't happened yet, and it didn't happen in this match. Shane and Miz worked together incredibly well. during this tag team. I was like, okay, that's crazy. Speaking of crazy, now no one's ever going to accuse me of being a fashion plate, and I admit that. I'm not one for looking for designer labels. I'm not one for, having to wear the latest thing of whatever's hot, that kind of thing. I usually dress in dark clothing. I usually dress in black because I think I look good in it, and that's just who I am. That having been said, holy crap, the outfit the bar had on. What the actual fucking fuck? I'm sorry. Where the fuck do you get purple camo? More to the point, why do you get purple camo? Or actually, my husband kept insisting it was lavender. I'm not entirely sure that's inaccurate. I think lavender is a slight shade lighter, but for right now, we'll just go with purple. Why? Why? Are you planning on doing some camouflage stuff? Are you planning to do some, covert operations in a vineyard? I mean, what the fuck? And lavender or purple, whatever, kilts. Seriously? I don't have a problem with kilts. Before anybody, especially if I have any listeners in Scotland, which if I do, hey, it's not like I have a problem with men wearing kilts. I have no problem with men wearing kilts. I think a man in a kilt looks really awesome. I was an enormous fan of Axl Rose back when he used to wear kilts, but I was an enormous fan of Axl Rose wearing absolutely nothing. I would have been totally fine with that back in the day. Yes, I was a rock slut. Deal with it. But I'm sorry. Lavender kilts. Oh my blog. I never thought I'd have to say those two words in the same sentence. I'm like, really? Wow. It's a damn good thing you guys are pro wrestlers, because nobody else would dare walk out of their house with those on. Good grief. And of course, this match involving Shane McMahon, unfortunately, had a flare-up of his syndrome. For those of you who don't know what I mean, Shane McMahon syndrome is the unfortunate syndrome where you function perfectly normally the rest of the year, but one night out of the year you feel compelled to throw yourself off of something high. Since there were no cages or anything for Shane to throw himself off of, he had to settle for the top of the turnbuckle. There were more than a few times when I was sitting there watching this match going, Shane McMahon is going to kill himself. Thankfully, that did not happen. In fact, what did happen was the fact that Shane McMahon and The Miz are now the SmackDown Tag Team Champions because Shane wound up pinning Cesaro, and what the fuck did I just watch? I mean, it was a really exciting, fun, I can't believe this is happening match. I also have to be conflict of interest? Nobody's seeing this at all? Nobody? Just me? Alright, fine, fuck me, what do I know? I might be wrong. But, I mean, like I said, it was exciting, it was crazy, and of course Shane had to do some sick, stupid, insane spots. I feel so bad for his wife. I mean, that poor lady must be on edge all the time, especially since I think they have 2 sons or possibly more, and they probably look at their dad and they're probably like, my dad's the coolest dad ever. Oh man, it was completely insane. The next match was the Raw Women's Championship with the champion Rowdy Ronda Rousey going against Sasha Banks. I think I've asked this question before. I'm probably sure I have asked it before, but I'm going to go back and beat that dead horse a few more times. What the frig is Corey Graves' problem with Sasha Banks? I mean, does she owe him money? How badly did she shoot him down back in the day? What is his friggin' deal? I mean, I know that it's just Corey doing his job, and I'm sure Corey Graves is a lovely person outside of his on-camera character, because his on-camera character gets on my nerves so damn much. I didn't think anyone could get on my nerves as badly as, like, Mark Madden did. Graves, the needle is tipping toward that end. Seriously, not kidding. Not gonna lie. But I don't get it. I don't get what his problem is with Sasha Banks. I think it's really interesting, and I think it's kind of funny that in some ways, his attitude towards Sasha reminds me a lot of the attitude of the late Bobby Heenan towards Hulk Hogan, since Heenan was a heel announcer and always favored the heels, but he still hated Hogan. Even after Hogan turned heel and the whole NWO thing, he still ragged on Hogan, and I liked that. I thought that was some continuity, and I liked it. But seriously, I don't know what in the fuck Sasha Banks did that Corey Graves has this hair up his ass when it comes to her. I don't get it. It was a good match. I mean, I happen to like Ronda as an in-ring competitor. Do I think she could use some work on the mic? Oh yeah. Yep, definitely. But watching her go in there and just, rip somebody apart, that's fun. I enjoy it. And I won't, I'm not going to deny who I am. Sasha wound up on the receiving end of a pin from Ronda, and Ronda retained her belt. Ronda, being very gracious, helped Sasha to her feet and let Sasha leave first. And I thought that was all extremely cool. I thought it was all, a sign of respect, and I actually thought it was really nice. When they got outside the ring, Sasha kind of walked about halfway down and then stopped. And then Ronda got out, did the whole high-fiving with the fans and stuff, and high-fiving and all that. She and Sasha were face-to-face, and Sasha flashes the 4 Horsewomen sign at her and then walks away. Which I'm guessing is, I don't know, code for this isn't over yet? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. So, following that was the Women's Royal Rumble match, with the winner getting to decide which champion they're going to face at WrestleMania. I am not going to attempt to go through who eliminated who. I just can't. It's just going to be way too insane, so I'm not going to even try. I will talk about who came in when. The first person out for in position number 1 was Lacey Evans. God, I hate this character. God almighty, I hate this character. Which is the point. I'm supposed to. She just gives me the total GCB vibe. And look it up if you don't know what that means. Number 2 was Natalya, who lasted for quite a long time in this match. Almost an hour. Following that was Mandy Rose. And following her was Liv Morgan. Mickie James, and then number 6 was one of my favorite wrestlers, Ember Moon. I love Ember Moon. I think she's incredible. Unfortunately, Ember has been sidelined with an injury that was announced after the Rumble. She got hurt, and she's going to be out for a little while, so much love to Ember, and much healing vibes and positive vibes, and hope you're back soon. Number 7 was the Iconics, Billie Kay, who refused to get in the ring until her partner came out. Aw, isn't that sweet? Sorry. Number 8 was Nikki Cross. I gotta be honest, I like Nikki Cross. I like her. I'm a little bit like, okay, so we're doing the raging psycho gimmick. All right. I mean, I like it. I have no problem with it. I'm also kind of like, people have been saying I'm fucking nuts and I don't have to run around like that. But, sometimes you just have to be the understated kind of psychotic. I'm not admitting to anything. And, okay, following that was, Peyton Royce in at number 9, Tamina in at number 10, Xia Li, I gotta say, I've never seen Xia Li before. I don't watch NXT. I really need to, but we don't watch it. We just never get the time. I gotta say, I am really impressed with her. Number 12 was Sarah Logan. Number 13, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte! Charlotte, I will never take away from as an athlete. Absolutely never. Never, 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 never. Never take away from her as an athlete or on the mic or anything like that. Or her costumes. Her outfits are awesome. Charlotte, honey, the lipstick. Slightly too much Wicked Queen. Just a little. Lighten up on the lipstick. Teeny tiny bit. Just saying. Or don't. Whatever. You know what you're doing. Number 14 was NXT's Kairi Sane. I don't get her gimmick. I mean, the whole pirate thing, I like it. I don't get it, but I like it. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest and say it intrigues me. I also have to be really mad impressed with someone who runs down to the ring holding a telescope up to their eye while they're running. That's part of her whole pirate thing. And I'm like, if I tried that, I would have fallen down and driven that thing right into my eye, right through the back of my head. So, serious mad props to Kairi Sane, because that woman's got some major dexterity. Number 15 was Maria Kanellis. Number 16, Naomi. Number 17, Candice LeRae. Number 18, Alicia Fox, and somewhere some poor, marching band's leader is missing their hat. Wow. Following her was Casey Catanzaro. Oh, I hope I said that even close to correct. And number 20 was Zelina Vega, who came out in I was like, what the, oh, I get it. She had the mask and the kind of almost pseudo Wolverine claws, and I'm like, what the, oh, I get it. It's the whole Street Fighter thing. Zelina tried to cheat her way out of the Rumble by hiding under the ring for quite a while. Until she was chased out. The stupid thing is, I'm like vibing in on the writers of this show, which really fucking scared me. Cause when she's under the ring, we see her peeking out every once in a while. I keep thinking to myself, hey, didn't Hornswoggle used to hang out? Hey, Hornswoggle, look at that. Cause, all of a sudden up pops Hornswoggle, who's terribly excited, a little too excited, that there's another person under the ring, and he winds up chasing her out from under the ring, chases her through the ring, and she winds up eliminating herself trying to get away from him. Comedy. Number 21 was Ruby Riott. Number 22, Dana Brooke. Number 23, Io Shirai. I hope I said that close to correct. Or Io. I'm not sure which it is. Number 24 is from NXT UK, Rhea Ripley. Good God. I'm sorry. And that is not meant in a negative way under any stretch of the imagination. Good God. That she is, wow. I mean, whew. I'm sorry, if I was in that match and I saw her coming down, I would throw myself over the top rope, because I'll be fucked. I'm gonna fuck with that. I mean, that woman is intimidating with a capital I. Number 25 was Sonya Deville. Number 26, Alexa Bliss, returning to the ring. Yippee. That was directed at her character, not at the person. Just saying. Number 27, Bayley, whom I adore and love and think is amazing. Number 28 was Becky Lynch. And it was like, what the what? Because it was, number 28 was supposed to be Lana. Number 28, her music played. She came down, or attempted to come down to the ring, because she got hurt in the preliminary match that, where the whole thing where Rusev crashed into her. She's limping down to the ring, and it's really kind of sad. I mean, I was like, I'm watching this poor woman. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. By the time she gets down there, it's going to be the men's match. Number 29 was Nia Jax, and number 30 was Carmella. Now, Becky Lynch comes into this because, as I said, Lana's trying to come down to ringside, but she's hurt. So, Becky comes out, and she's saying, like, Lana's hurt, she can't get in the ring, I want to take her spot. This took a little bit of wrangling between the suits that were out there, but Becky managed to convince the suit that was out there, which was Finley, I believe. Vast Gaelic conspiracy? You be the judge. That was a joke. Settle down. And Becky wound up taking Lana's spot. Now, there was way too much bullshit and fuckery going on in this Rumble match for me. There were too many people out there who had already been eliminated and kept eliminating people. Mandy Rose had already been eliminated when she stopped Naomi from getting in the ring. And since Mandy Rose is a bitch anyway, and I don't like her character, which I'm not supposed to, there's that. The Riot Squad out there constantly interfering and pulling people down and beating people up and all that stuff like that. Fuck that noise. If the referees aren't going to do anything about it, fucking hire some cops. Get some cops out there. Let them deal with them. Fucking taser to the side of the neck usually tends to calm people down where I'm from. Anyway. But the match was actually won by, surprise, Becky Lynch, who winds up being the last woman left in the ring after pitching Charlotte Flair. So Becky Lynch is going to be going to WrestleMania, and since we've already seen what happens when Becky Lynch goes against Asuka, she is now challenging Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. Not that that's not going to be a fun match. That is going to be fun as fuck. The person who eliminated the most people in the Rumble match was Charlotte, who eliminated 4 people. And like I said, there was some pretty good comedy spots. The whole thing with Alicia Fox, where she and Maria teamed up for about as long as it takes a mouse to sneeze, with Maria stomping on Alicia's hat, and Alicia throwing a tantrum in the middle of the ring that looked like, that had to be the best tantrum I've seen since Christmas time, at Toys R Us a few years back. But, it was a great match, but there was too many stuff that it was like, no, this should not be happening. This is wrong. There were too many things that kept it from not being a completely, it really, really bothered me. The referees should have been like, you're out, you're eliminated, leave, get out, beat it. Scram! Hit the bricks, sister! Shoo, as it were. So, as I mentioned, Becky Lynch will be facing Charlotte at, Becky Lynch will be facing Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania unless, something else happens in between then. Following that was the SmackDown Championship with Daniel Bryan going against AJ Styles. Daniel Bryan being the SmackDown champion right now and being so motherfucking annoying. Oh my gosh. It's one thing to be a heel. It's one thing to be an aggravating heel. I gotta be honest, for my money, and this is not anybody else's opinion but mine. And anybody who wants to dump on me for this, anybody who wants to tell me that I'm wrong for this, fine. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But my thing is, for me, Daniel Bryan is inching way too close to X-Pac heat territory for my sake. There's a difference between boo, you suck, we hate you, and boo, you suck, we hate you, get the fuck off my TV and never fucking come back. And Daniel Bryan is getting very, very close to boo, you suck, we hate you, get off my TV, please go outside and be hit by a bus. I'm sorry. I'm really disliking his character that much. His character. I don't really want Bryan Danielson to be hit by a bus. Just CYA, boys and girls, because some people get very sensitive. So, this is supposed to be a great match considering who's involved. And I have to be honest, this one left me just going, nope. Not feeling it at all. I don't know what it was. But it seemed to me like it was like the whole match seemed to be going at half speed from where it should have been. And I don't know why. I can't put my finger on what it was that I didn't enjoy about this match. Except for the end of the match, where I can totally tell you what fucking sucked, in the fact that Daniel Bryan winds up getting a pinfall after interference from Eric Rowan. The fuck? I'm like, what? So Eric Rowan comes down and looking the same way Eric Rowan always looks, like one of those dudes that lives out in the woods waiting for the world to end, you know. And he winds up interfering in the match and then beating the crap out of AJ afterwards. And I'm just like, what the fucking fuck? Why? I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan in the world of the Bludgeon Brothers, but at least it was an interesting tag team. So does this mean that's done? That's through? Because now, Eric Rowan's, Daniel Bryan's new batch. I mean, seriously, I don't know. And then on SmackDown this week, we get Daniel Bryan introducing the new belt that he had commissioned, which is made of hemp and natural wood. Okay. Stop the world. I want to get off. Anyway. Going forward to the Raw World Championship match with Brock Lesnar going against Finn Balor. Okay. This was the one I was really waiting for because I am an enormous Finn Balor fan and I don't really give a care. I don't really give a care who knows it. Looking at you, Vince Russo. And I gotta be honest, there was a little part of me. Now, I love Finn. Don't get me wrong. I love Finn. I think he's wonderful. Very charismatic guy. But there was a tiny part of me that was going, please let it be the Demon King. Please let it be the Demon King. Because I gotta be honest, that character is so fucking sexy. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about that character, but man. And I know all my Supernatural fans out there are going, what? Yeah. Demons and Supernatural fans don't get along. But it was Finn as himself, which is fine. I have no problem with that because I could look at those abs all day long. But they have been making a big deal about, David and Goliath, blah, blah, blah. Brock Lesnar's a monster, blah, blah, blah. Finn has no chance, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, that was kind of the way this match was written. And I was like, ugh. And then, of course, after the match, because we have to make sure that everybody knows that Brock Lesnar is an absolute dick, which most of us knew anyway, that after Finn taps from the Kimura lock, which Brock put on him, so that Brock could keep his belt, after the match is over, Brock has to continue to kick the living shit out of Finn. And I'm just sitting there, every single kick, I'm going, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. I don't like Brock Lesnar. I don't respect Brock Lesnar. And am I still salty about the fact that Cro-Magnon is the one that ended the streak? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, I am. And I'm not sorry about it. And I'm not gonna act like I'm ever gonna change my opinion. So, fuck off. The Men's Royal Rumble closed out the show, which makes sense because by now everybody else had to be exhausted. I know, I was like, it's not a question of being bored, it's just a question of being tired. There were a couple of times I had to pinch the side of my leg. I'm like, I'm awake, I'm fine, okay. Number one in the men's battle royal was Elias, who tried to sing again. Take a drink every time Elias tries to sing. I guarantee you that's a good way to get alcohol poisoning. And I'm not advocating that to anybody. Elias winds up being interrupted by the person who is number 2 in the Rumble, Jeff Jarrett. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Are you fucking kidding me? And it's not Jeff Jarrett, like Jeff Jarrett, TNA Jeff Jarrett. Oh, no. This is like JFFJARRETT Jeff Jarrett. And I'm like, why don't you FUCKOFF? Really? I mean, at least, he was wearing one of those old outfits with the holes in it, cut that weird ass kind of way. And I'm like, well, at least he's not wearing the light up one. Cause, you remember that one get up that he had, that like the pants lit up and the shirt lit up and the sunglasses lit up and the hat lit up? I was always like, one of these days a very small plane's gonna mistake him for a runway and just land on him. Thankfully he was not out there terribly long because Elias eliminated him. And if Elias does nothing else in 2019, he got Jeff Jarrett away from a microphone. So thank you, Elias, so much. Following that was Shinsuke Nakamura, followed by Kurt Angle, Biggie Langston, who had pancakes in his trunks. For those of you who thought the girl that pulled out her tampon at an indie show was like slightly like vomit in your mouth, although to be honest, the tampon thing is worse. Number 6 was Johnny Gargano from NXT. Number 7, Jinder Mahal, who came out with the Singh brothers because we can't have nice things. And number 8, Samoa Joe, followed by Kurt Hawkins and Seth Rollins, who did not wear his Infinity Gauntlet tights this time, but wore tights that were in the colors of his favorite team, the Chicago Bears. That's cute. That's adorable. Good luck with that. I know every Chicago fan out there is now going, you fucking bitch. No, I'm just kidding. Chicago's a great team. It's a wonderful city. Y'all have Sven Gulli, so you're awesome. Number 11 was Titus O'Neil, who did not fall down going to the ring, thankfully. But because we're gonna keep running that joke into the ground. Number 12 was Kofi Kingston. Number 13, Mustafa Ali, one of my new favorite. Oh my gosh, how have I missed this guy for so long? Because he is freaking awesome. Number 14, Dean Ambrose. I will talk about him in a bit. Number 15, No Way Jose and his entourage of No Way Jose dancers. I don't know what else to call them because they're doing the little dancey thing. And then Mr. Buzzkill, Drew McIntyre, who came out, beat up Jose and beat up a bunch of the dancers because Drew McIntyre hates dancing. Drew McIntyre hates fun. Drew McIntyre is a dick. I don't know. Number 17, Xavier Woods. Number 18, Pete Dunne from NXT UK. Number 19, Andrade, I think it's Andrade, because they dropped the CN for some reason that I don't quite get. Number 20, Apollo Crews. Number 21, Aleister Black. And damn it, that guy is scary looking. Number 22, that does not mean as an insult. He's impressive looking. It's just, how'd you like that to show up on your doorstep? Hi, I'm here to take your daughter to prom. Yike. Number 22, Shelton Benjamin. Number 23, Baron Corbin, who is still wrestling in fucking pants and a shirt, and I don't fucking get why. Number 24, Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy. Jeff. Jeff, I adore you. I do. I adore you. I've adored you for many years from afar, because that doesn't sound stalkerish or weird or anything. I have, great respect for you as an athlete, as a promo person, as just being a complete all-around fucking crazy guy. Jeff, don't wear that shirt again. Seriously, Jeff, I am not fucking around. Never wear that fucking shirt again. What the hell, Jeff? You look like you're wearing fish scales. I know Aquaman was hot at the end of the year, but the cosplay's gotta go, dude. Number 25, speaking of someone who's done cosplay, in their masks and stuff, Rey Mysterio, who unfortunately did not do that this time. Number 26, Bobby Lashley. Number 7, 27, Braun Strowman. 28, Dolph Ziggler, who I'm finally getting used to with the straight hair. I like it. I think it looks good. I'm just finally getting used to it. Number 29, he hears voices, Randy Orton. And number 30 was supposed to be R-Truth because that was part of the whole winning the mixed tag team tournament. You know, he won for the men and Carmella won for the ladies. Unfortunately, R-Truth didn't make it to the ring because he was blindsided and not even allowed to get in the match because out comes Nia Jax, who then gets in the ring, and everything kind of went, screechy breaks. With all of us kind of going, what the fuck? And the guys in the ring definitely being like, what the hell? You know, she winds up eliminating Rey Mysterio, but not before Rey gave her a 619. I was like, thank you. I'm sorry, I had that backwards. She was eliminated by Rey Mysterio, who gave her a 619. Thank you again, Rey. If I didn't mention it before, I'm sorry. I fucked up my own handwriting. I can't read my handwriting. I'm sorry. But I gotta talk about this for a minute. Nia Jax gets in the ring with, you know, all these guys, and you have some people online, and I am not making this up, whining that this is advocating domestic abuse. Are you kidding? Are you fucking kidding? If I get in a fight with a man, if I put myself in a physical fight with a man, if I hit a man first and he doesn't hit me back because I'm a woman, then we've both lost. Because isn't that what equal rights are supposed to be about? You can't have your cake and eat it too, people. If you want equal rights, you have to take equal consequences. If you want to dance, you have to pay the band. And you can't be like, oh, I can hit you, but you can't hit me because I have ovaries? Fuck off. Fuck off. Nia walked out there and put herself in that situation, and watching Randy Orton give her an RKO and watching Rey Mysterio give her a 619, did I enjoy that? Shit, yes, I did. Did I enjoy it in a way that I'd rather not talk about on the air? I refuse to testify to that on the grounds it may incriminate me later. But I'm sorry, no. Anybody who's like, oh, they're advocating abusing women, fuck off. Fuck you. You don't put yourself in that situation and then decide, oh, you can't hit me because I'm a girl. That's not the way it works. It's just not. The men's Royal Rumble wound up being won by Seth Rollins, who was in there for quite a long time, 43 minutes and 26 seconds to be exact. The person who eliminated the most people in the Rumble was, I believe, let me make absolutely sure here. Yes, it was Braun Strowman, who eliminated 5 people. There were a few other things during this Rumble that I want to bring up, including the whole thing with, now every year something happens with Kofi Kingston. Every year he almost gets eliminated, and we see him do something that goes, well, someone passed their Dex check. Yes, that was a D&D reference. Yes, I'm a nerd. Deal with it. This year, he winds up in this, I don't know what the fuck you'd call it, thing with Xavier Woods, where Xavier kind of caught him and did this flippy shit, and it was like some Cirque du Soleil fucking crap. And I was like, I don't know what just happened, but it was cool. You know, it was interesting and it was funny, and I was like, all right. So anyway, Seth Rollins was the winner of the male's Royal Rumble and announced the next night on Raw that he was going to be challenging Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship, the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. I'm sorry, at WrestleMania. Okay, if I'm gonna grade this Rumble, I'm gonna give it 3.5 bouquets out of 5. We'll go with that. It was fun. I had some really good moments, but it wasn't perfect, and there were too many things that irritated me. Now, speaking of Dean Ambrose, it's come to, light, and it came to light the day of the Rumble. There was talk about it. And it's been broken through several, news outlets and stuff like that. So we know it's not a rumor or a suggestion or, just somebody saying stuff online, because that happens a lot. Dean Ambrose has announced that he is not going to be renewing his WWE contract, and that after WrestleMania, he's out of World Wrestling Entertainment. I have to be honest, I think that's a really good move on his part. Dean worked really well as part of the Shield, and he worked really well as just Dean Ambrose on his own. He works really well as a face or a heel, but this last heel run has sucked. It hasn't been a good fit at all. And he knows it. The fans know it. I think the writers know it. Between the whole germaphobe thing, the whole kind of almost Bane cosplay attitude kind of happening, and the fact that they decided to do the heel turn, they decided to pull that trigger on the same night that Roman Reigns announced that he had to leave wrestling because he was battling leukemia again. That just left such a bad taste in my mouth. If it means not seeing Dean on TV as much, if he goes somewhere where he's happier and works well and is given good material to work with, then I'm completely fine with it. Because I want him to be happy as an athlete and as a person. It's very easy for us as fans to be like, oh, they're selfish for leaving, fuck them, blah, blah, blah. But you have to remember, there's a human being behind that character. Even people who go by their real names, there's still a person, that's a character. There's a person behind that character. There's a person who goes home and, has a family, has a life that we're not part of. And you have to accept that. And whatever he decides to do, and wherever he decides to go, I wish him nothing but luck and love and positive vibes and peace. And I'm also, this is an open request to the WWE, to anybody, who's listening, who has any control over this shit, which may be nobody. We all know he's leaving. Do not, until he is leaving, do not book him in stupid, demeaning, humiliating, punishing shit. Because we know he's leaving. And we know why you do it if you do that. And we will let you know we don't fucking like it. This isn't 1989 anymore, when the fans had to just sit back and take it when bad stuff happened to people. It's not the 80s. It's not even the mid-90s when Al Gore invented the internet. We'll let you know we don't like it and we won't accept it. Enough said. So, that is gonna do it here for another week on Ring Around the Rosie. And if you have any comments, questions, queries, complaints, anything you'd like to send my way, please send it to platinumroselle@yahoo.com. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at platinumroselle@twitter.com. I have another show as well. I have a couple of other shows, but I have one show that's on our Patreon. I hope you will go to our Patreon and check it out and send us some support. I have a show that I started last week on Patreon called Kaiju Corner, which is my show about kaiju movies, giant monster movies, of which I am an enormous fan and have been since I was a very young child. So hopefully you will donate to Patreon and check that show out. I have another solo show called Platinum Rose's Garden, which is my supernatural podcast, where I talk about supernatural and the episode of the week and my feelings on it and other fun stuff too. That's over at PlatinumRosesGarden.com. And there are other shows that are part of our little island of misfit toys here at Subject Cinema, the Popcorn and Roses Network and everything. You can check out Subject Cinema, which is our movie podcast, TC and mine. And also Front Row 5 and 10, which is our list show. TC has some solo shows as well, including Catastrophe, Vortex, his show about disaster movies, and 2 smaller shows, Tuesday Digidex and 3 Minute Weekend, where he talks about what's coming out to theaters, what's coming out on demand, so you know where to go spend your coinage. You can also check out Cavebabble, which is Eric and Valerie, some friends of ours that have a great show, and Aunt B's Nerd Grotto over on YouTube. You can check out Anthony Lamberti over there. He's a great guy, and you can check out his fun site as well. If you are of a more dramatic bent, you can listen to Manhattan Hammerdown As It Happened, which is our look at what else was going on in New York the night that the incidents that happened in the movie Cloverfield happened. It's an all-original dramatic piece. And we also have our dramatic reading of H.G. Wells' The War of the Worlds, which we did for Halloween. Those involve everybody as part of the Subject Cinema family, and they were a lot of fun to do and real labors of love, and we hope you'll check them out. Please like, share, and subscribe to all of our shows and recommend them to other people that might be so inclined to listen. So, as I slip on something more warm because it's getting really cold, and as the mercury plunges below the little ball at the end of the thermometer, this is Kim Brown signing off for another week here on Ring Around the Rosie, and I will check you guys out in 2 weeks. Bye!
You have been listening to Ring Around the Rosie with Kim Brown, a production of PNRNetworks. Keep in touch with all things about the show at http://ringaroundtherosie.net. Ring Around the Rosie intro performed by Eric Lyon. Ring Around the Rosie theme by Digital Juice. Join Kim for a new Ring Around the Rosie every Wednesday. Ring Around the Rosie is copyright 2018 PNRNetworks, Boston, Massachusetts, USA.
Podcasting's choice. From coast to coast, continent to continent, right here 24/7.